Have you ever watched someone break up with their ex, swear they're done for good, block them on everything, and then a week later they're back together again? It's frustrating to watch. You want to shake them and ask, why do you keep doing this? But psychology says people who go back to their ex aren't stupid or weak. They're stuck in a psychological pattern that's deeper than love. It's about attachment, fear, and unresolved emotional wounds that keep pulling them back to what hurts them. Let's break down the real psychology behind people who always go back to their ex. 1. They're trauma bonded, not in love. This is the hardest truth to accept. What feels like love is often a trauma bond. Psychologists define trauma bonding as an unhealthy attachment formed through cycles of abuse and intermittent reinforcement. The relationship has highs and lows, amazing moments followed by terrible ones, and that unpredictability creates an addictive pattern. Research shows that intermittent reinforcement, getting love sometimes but not always, is one of the most powerful psychological hooks. It's the same mechanism behind gambling addiction. You keep going back hopping for that high, that moment when things feel good again. But the good moments don't erase the bad ones. They just make it harder to leave. People trapped in trauma bonds genuinely believe they can't live without their ex. But what they're actually addicted to is the cycle, not the person. 2. They have an anxious attachment style. Attachment theory explains a lot about why people return to exes. People with anxious attachment have a deep fear of abandonment. They need constant reassurance, validation, and closeness to feel secure. When the relationship ends, that fear gets triggered intensely. They panic. They feel incomplete. Even if the relationship was toxic, being alone feels worse than being with someone who hurts them. Psychologists say anxiously attached people often idealize their ex after a breakup. They remember the good times and minimize the bad. They convince themselves that if they just try harder, love better, or change something about themselves, the relationship will work. So they go back, not because things have changed, but because their fear of being alone is stronger than their memory of the pain. 3. They don't know who they are without their ex. Some people stay stuck in the on-again, off-again cycle because their entire identity is wrapped up in that relationship. Psychologists call this enmeshment or codependency. They don't have a sense of self outside of being someone's partner. Their hobbies, their friends, their routines, everything revolves around their ex. So when they break up, they feel lost, empty, like they don't exist. Research shows that people who lack a strong sense of self are more likely to return to past relationships because being with their ex feels like coming home to themselves. But the truth is, they never built a home within themselves. So they keep returning to a relationship that's familiar, even if it's toxic, because it's the only version of themselves they know. 4. They're afraid of starting over. Breaking up means starting from zero. It means being vulnerable with someone new, explaining your past, building trust again, going through awkward first dates and uncertain beginnings. For some people, that feels exhausting and terrifying. So even if their ex wasn't great, at least they're familiar. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy. They've already invested so much time, energy, and emotion into this person. Walking away feels like admitting it was all for nothing. So they convince themselves it's easier to fix what's broken than to start fresh. But the reality is, staying in a cycle that doesn't work costs them more in the long run. They're not saving time. They're losing years to something that was never meant to last. 5. They believe they can fix or change their ex. People who go back to their exes often have a savior complex. They genuinely believe that if they love their ex hard enough, they'll change. They see the potential in their ex and hold on to it like a promise. Psychologists say this mindset is rooted in childhood experiences where love was conditional and had to be earned. They learned that if they just tried harder, they could make someone love them the right way. So they keep going back, hoping this time will be different. But the painful truth is, you can't love someone into becoming who you need them to be. Change only happens when someone chooses it for themselves. And waiting for that change while sacrificing your peace is not love. It's self-abandonment. 6. They're scared no one else will love them. Deep down, Many people who return to their ex believe they're not worthy of better. They think this is as good as it gets. Maybe their ex made them feel worthless. Maybe their self-esteem is so low that they can't imagine anyone else wanting them. Psychologists call this internalized inadequacy. They've accepted the narrative that they're lucky their ex even tolerates them. So even when the relationship is painful, they stay because they're convinced no one else will love them. Research shows that people with low self-worth often choose partners who reinforce their negative self-image. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't believe they deserve healthy love, so they settle for toxic love. And the cycle continues. 7. They mistake comfort for compatibility. Familiarity feels safe, even when it's unhealthy. People go back to their ex because that person knows them. They've seen them at their worst. They understand their quirks, their past, their family. Starting over with someone new means being vulnerable all over again. And vulnerability is scary. Psychologists say humans are wired to seek comfort and predictability. So even if the relationship was toxic, the familiarity of it feels easier than the uncertainty of something new. But comfort is not the same as compatibility. Just because someone knows you doesn't mean they're good for you. And staying in a relationship because it's comfortable is choosing safety over growth. And that's how people stay stuck for years. 8. They haven't healed from the breakup. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Going back to your ex before you fully healed is just pausing the pain, not ending it. Psychologists say that unresolved emotions and unprocessed grief keep people tethered to their past. They break up but never truly let go. They don't give themselves time to grieve, reflect, or rebuild. So the emotional wound stays open. And the second their ex reaches out, they fall right back in because they never closed that chapter. Research shows that people need time and space to detach emotionally after a breakup. Without that, they remain energetically connected to their ex, and that connection keeps pulling them back, even when logic says it's over. So if you're someone who keeps going back to your ex, or you know someone stuck in this cycle, understand this. It's not about love. It's about fear, attachment wounds, and unhealed trauma. Breaking the cycle requires facing the pain you've been avoiding. It means building a life where you feel whole without them. It means choosing yourself even when it feels impossible. And yes, it's hard, but staying in a loop that breaks you over and over is harder. You deserve more than recycled love. You deserve someone who stays, who grows, who chooses you consistently. And that starts with choosing yourself first. If you want to understand the psychology behind relationship patterns, subscribe now. Because on this channel, we're not just calling out toxic behavior. We're helping you understand it, heal from it, and break free.